Tilak Nagar Industries Limited. Very high qualified person, doctorate in management and law grade, masters in law, masters in management, double masters in management, MPhil, and currently he set up the entire HR department, admin department, legal, HR, ISO, and several other departments. Has worked with many known companies, UTI Technology Service, Bharatiya Reserve Bank, Note, Mudra, and he has been in the many committees of CII and many other forums, has been great speakers in many forums. He was assigned with the statutory tasks of acting as a company liaison officer of our ST employees in the company. He is member secretary of Apex level company management committee. He is a resource person and keynote speaker on management issues and challenges at different professional and educational forums. Please give a loud applause to Doctor and
So very good morning to all of you friends, and as my friend has introduced, the only one point I would like to tell you that I have worked across the organization in many companies earlier. But the fact remains that I have graduated from HR, and that is why my agony is the highest among all of them. And that is the agony that I was sharing in the earlier session. How people in the organization will take HR seriously. Unless we talk of business, unless we are in position to prove that each and every HR initiative is quantifiable, it contributes to the value of the company, it contributes to the generation of cutting edge value for the organization, and that is a very big challenge. And I have gone through this process. I was feeling very sad when most of the companies, they are outsourcing the HR functions. Okay? Recently in my own company, recruitment function, we outsourced the HR. The recruitment manager came and cried before me, sir, I have taken house building loan. I married. And now you are going to sack me because you are outsourcing the recruitment function to another small roadside company, HR company. Okay? So what to do? Then I gave him a chance that if you want to migrate to sales area, then possibly I will try to save your job, and I will do it out of a sort of affinity because I am an HR person. Okay? And I am very happy that he proved me right, and he is doing very well. Okay? So it has bust the myth that HR people cannot do across the companies, since I am doing, and I believe that everybody can do. The only thing is, we HR people ourselves should change our orientation. Instead of talking all the time about generalities, this is not the first congress I am attending. As you have seen, I am quite an experienced person. I have been attending. All the time the talks are only on generalities. Okay? Nobody comes to the basics. That how do we go into analytics, and what are the challenges let us address. And unless we address, my dear friends, the challenges and come out ourselves, putting our head across to find out solutions, and solutions are handy. I have practiced in my company, so anybody can do it. The only thing is the attitude to go for a paradigm shift, that should be there. If it is not there, then unfortunately we will keep being a support function, and in all the board meetings everybody will be looking at us, oh, you are from HR, so arrange hotel for the directors, so that their cars are ready, how is their food. This is so demeaning that HR people should reduce themselves to do this job which a small admin fellow can do. So we must get into strategic HR, be part of the business, and for that you have to talk of analytics in whatever you do. And it is possible, my dear friends. I am not telling something hypothetical that it is not possible. If I have practiced it, you can also do it. Choice is yours. If you do not do it, that's why in all management colleges when I go to deliver lectures, I ask first question, what is your dream? Believe me, 99% people will say, I want to be Vice President HR, I want to retire. I want to be head HR. But I was the only person, when I was doing MBA, I had said, I want to be the CEO or director of a company. Okay? It is very challenging to migrate from HR. It is very easy to migrate from marketing and finance. You know that very well, I need not repeat. Let us come back to the topic. You have understood what is the challenge I am posing before you, and I am sure, especially I have a lot of hope on the youngsters. Okay? Because the senior people, they are used to a mold and it will be difficult for them to change the mindset. But the challenge remains with the youngsters like you, who must accept it very seriously. And see, have you ever asked a small question to yourself? When a marketing guy comes and takes approval for spend on business promotion, he talks so passionately and we get convinced and we sanction it. But when a chairperson comes with an HR initiative, the same passion is not there and he makes mistakes. Don't think that only HR makes mistakes, they make mistakes. But still their acceptability is so high. That sort of passion we'll have to bring in the faculty. And once it comes, believe me, you will be a very important part of the strategic process. And that is what I'll be very happy to see all of you, especially the youngsters. You should have that dream lashed in your eyes to sit in the boardroom and decide for the company. Talk of business, business and business. Nothing short of organizing picnic and all that. People are there to do that job. Right. So, this is one question. Two questions I pose. I'll request all of you that if you have some feedback on that, kindly share with me. My email ID will be at the end, you can write up. Right? The first question I posed was that in the boardroom frequently it is asked, and the director who looks after HR like me, he is always bombarded with this question that it is you who had played a very important role in sourcing the operation head at a cost of this. Is he contributing that much? Because we see some of the factories condition, return on investment. I cannot, they have warned me that you cannot talk of generalities. You have to talk of facts and figures. So that precisely reduces the role of the HR person to talk of KRAs. As you know, in most of the companies now variable salary is 20%. Okay? Fixed component is 80%. 80% salary in any case you get. And variable salary, as you know, we pay so that you run. If you sit, you get 80%. If you run, you get 20%. And how do I decide that 20%? Again, HOD will say, and the chairman will ask, how do you pay this 20%? What is the basis? The basis has to be prepared by HR. And it is on the basis of the KRA realization. And KRA, as you know, all of you are practicing it. Most of the time, HR people, they confuse KRA with the job description. Making sales calls is a job description. But how much you have sold, that is the KRA. This is the imprecise, this is the difference. But most of the time we confuse. There also fundamental has to be very clear with the HR people because they are responsible in fixing KRAs. And when they fix KRA for other departments, they should understand also the functioning of the department. That is why I see a very big role for the HR people in coming days when they have to understand the nitty-gritties of each and every department. Then only they will fix KRA. And on the basis of KRA realization, you pay the variable salary. So KRA realization is 80% in somebody's case, you pay 80%. You pay 60% if it is 60%. If it is less than 50, obviously he is underperforming. So you have to go for performance improvement plan, counseling and all these things. But if he is delivering 90%, then you have to pay him 110%. Okay? Because he has run like a horse and he should be rewarded. So it has to be a very calculated and well calibrated strategy, but based on quantifiable parameters. The moment somebody asks, sir, why you have paid me 30%, why you have paid him 80%, you are biased. I have to give an answer. And the answer is on the basis of analytics and facts and figures. The biggest challenge for HR is that HR should be able to answer every question the employee asks. You cannot shy away from any question, but the questions can be answered on the basis of facts and figures. So how to reduce, how to bring most of the important strategic HR initiatives into facts and figures. So this is one of them, which is very critical. So yeah, so now the dynamics is very tough. I'm sorry. How much time you have? You have half an hour. Okay. Yeah. So the dynamics is very tough, as you know. Post-globalization competition is so tough.
Take around 20-25 minutes. We can have
some questions. Sure, I will do that. Yeah. So post-globalization, as I say, competition is so tough. We are a very big market. Nobody can ignore India, not because they love us for our beauty or whatever. No, they love us because we are a very big market. So everybody will come. So there will be tough competition. Tough competition means what? There will be a continuous search for cutting edge over the competitor. That is what happens in any competition, as you know. There is a continual search for cutting edge over the competition. And the moment you find out a cutting edge, that becomes the benchmark. Then somebody else finds out another cutting edge, that the benchmark, like that, it goes up. And as you know, in the race for excellence, there is no finishing line. So it goes on and on. So this continual search, it goes on. Then absolute utilization of organizational resources on return on investment basis. This is a very important process of running the organization, that all my assets in the organization, they should give me proper return. And the return is again decided by the market forces. If my competitor's return is this, then for that asset I should get exactly the same return, or maybe slightly more. And this has now reduced down to the people also. Whether the return on investment, because people are the biggest investment, that's why I see very bright future for HR, because this is the only variable, this is the only asset. There is no rated capacity. Suppose it is a printing machine, the rated capacity is written on the top, that it can print only 50,000 pieces per hour. But there is no rated capacity here. The toolbox that I carry in my hand, it does not carry any rated capacity. That means it is infinite. And as long as it is infinite, my challenges are the most exciting challenges. I can do wonders with this toolbox because it does not have a rated capacity. And that is in my hand, in the HR people's hand. And so why should I accept this second fiddle role in the organization? I should not, I must not. And I request all the youngsters, you should not. You should not. And you should prove yourself that the most dynamic asset of the organization is in my hand, and I can generate the type of value for you that nobody else, no other asset can do. But it has to be friends on the basis of facts and figures. And that is what we have to reduce it to. Okay? So absolute utilization of organizational resources on return on investment basis. This is the most important criterion. Next, recruiting quality manpower with competitive edge is the biggest challenge. Okay? Because there are a lot of discussions today also, I heard yesterday also. Everybody talked about recruiting quality manpower. What do you mean by quality manpower? I understand only one thing, that if he is not contributing in a quality manner to the organizational value system, no. Because I have come from public sector also. Earlier I was working in Reserve Bank of India. All the record breakers, they are in the organization. In other public sectors also. Excellent talent, excellent quality of manpower. But what is their contribution to the organizational value system, all of you know very well, I need not tell you. So, quality, as far as I am concerned, is defined whether there is quality contribution, qualitative contribution to the value generation or not. Otherwise, if he is a PhD, he knows a lot, he is a Gyani, Gyani in all sense of terms, he should go to Himalayas and sit and pray there. If he is in my company, what he is generating for my company is the most important issue that will decide whether he is quality or not. Right. So retention of this head quality manpower. Yeah, somebody contributes, cutting edge value to the organization. How do I retain him? Yeah, that is the challenge. Then superior value generation of the quality manpower. Yes. Then computation to be done on quantifiable and verifiable basis. The moment I say that C is, a precious asset for the organization, that time C will come and ask, your good name please? You? Madhu. Your good name please? Maitri. Oh, both start with them. Suppose I say Maitri, I want to give her 30% hike because I like her for some reason. Okay? Madhu will come, sir, how do you do that? I work hard. And how do you do that? Can you show me the basis on which you have done? I'll say, how dare you ask this question to HR? I'm HR after all. I cannot liable to answer this question. This paradigm shift should happen in all youngsters here. Don't answer like this. Answer yes. It is based on facts and figures. Bring her to the table. Performance appraisal system, KRA. In performance appraisal system, in all attributes, what was her score? She was outstanding, she was very good, obviously. Next is KRA. What is the KRA realization she has done on every half quarter? And what is the KRA realization she has done? Once you show it to her, then she will be convinced, okay, this is on the basis of some quantifiable, number one, underscore in bold in red, and verifiable, again underscore in bold in red, quantifiable and verifiable basis, right? And then she is happy, she says, okay, I understand these are my shortcomings or whatever. So computation that extremely important for sustained organizational growth, because as I said in the beginning, that if you want to look for sustained organizational growth, you have to be in continuous search for cutting edge. You cannot say that this cutting edge I have got today and tomorrow it will exist. It is not so, because the benchmark will be knocked down by the competitor every now and then with new ideas, new innovations. Okay, so naturally in such a scenario, you have to look for a continuous and sustained growth on the basis of developing cutting edge every day. Then an important strategic HR process, because again I am telling you that most important strategy in the organization is in your hand, because the asset that you are dealing with is the most dynamic asset which does not have a rated capacity here. So what you are going to do, how you are trying to get the best out of it, that is what we have attempted earlier, but these are on theoretical basis. What I am trying to tell you is you should do it on practical basis, on verifiable basis and quantifiable basis, and believe me, it is possible. So setting up new benchmarks of performance and productivity, because if you are looking for cutting edge on a continuous basis, so it is possible. So KRAs, now return on hire parameters to be taken into consideration. Now as I have told that it can be calculated, you will be wondering how it can be calculated, performance, how it can be calculated. Okay, so this is how, some of the parameters I will discuss with you, but it is up to you also to find out new parameters. I am not saying, I have made an attempt to bring in a sort of dynamism into the system, that instead of talking of generalities, let us talk of facts and figures, and that's how we have done it. So KRA set for the concerned resource, concerned person. What is the KRA set? Okay, and KRA, setting KRA may be very easy for the sales people. You fix a target and you say this is the KRA. For ideally for a salesperson, this is the target I am setting for this territory, and this is the collection you will get from the market, and this is the debt in the market that is lying you should get. These are the 3 KRAs I fix based on the data. But how do I do it? For somebody who is looking after, say, HR in recruitment or in employee engagement. Like recently the HR head came to me, he said, sir, how do we fix KRA for the manager employee engagement? Okay, what will be the KRAs? Then we decided that this will be the KRA. Employee engagement means look at how many Mondays he has come late. Because Monday blue affects the people. Because I always believe that organization is your second wife. Okay, so whose pool is higher, that is very important. whether your wife pulls you down on Monday or you get pulled to the organization for the second wife, right? And HR's job will be to ensure that the second wife is more powerful than the first wife. It does not happen, but let us try. Okay. So how many Mondays people are coming late? How much absenteeism has taken place because it is not engaged? What is the attrition rate? So like this we find out 3-4 parameters. I am not saying these 3 are absolute. You can add 1 or 2 more. Just apply your mind, you will get. Same thing can happen with recruitment. Okay? How much recruitment cost he has saved? What is his priority? He is recruiting from agencies or he is recruiting from internal referral scheme. Okay? And how much he has saved? Then how many days he has taken to close the recruitment? Like that, believe me, you can find out 3 or 4 parameters based on which you can fix the KRA. Right? So KRA set for the resource. Then KRA elements to be defined and stressed to quantifiable accretion, as I gave you the example now. Then environmental contribution indexed and subtracted. Many times your achievement will be because of environmental reasons. But when I am calculating your personal contribution to the company, the environmental factors, certain changes in the government policy, this and that may help you. That I will have to see that the role of that is not unnecessarily pegged down to your achievement. Then team contribution indexed and subtracted. Maybe you have bright performance in the team, so they have done everything and you have only organized it. So that role also in a indexed manner you have to reduce. You cannot entirely reduce because you being leader you have contributed obviously. Then competitors' performance during the corresponding period evaluated. ये बहुत important है because how my competitor has performed during that period, that is going to play a very important role as far as benchmarking is concerned. I always, when we talk about KRAs of a sales officer, we say that if my competitor company in that territory is selling 10 and you are selling 8 and you are telling that I cannot sell more, I am not prepared to accept, because I believe in this that competitor whatever he has sold that really belongs to me, but you are so useless that it has gone to my competitor. So snatching it away from the competitor is also part of your process. So I believe that you should achieve 10 plus 8, 18. 10 if he has taken that belong to me because you did not do well, so it went to him. Okay, so competitor plays a very important role, friends. So that also I will have to see in any benchmarking how much he has performed in that particular role. Then lost opportunities quantified and subtracted. That if you have achieved it 18, then obviously I would have been at the top. So lost opportunities also we will have to see. Okay, justification for hiring and retention of a resource on empirical basis, on the basis of facts and figures, it has to be, retention has to be done and hiring has to also be done on the basis of his empirical contribution to the organization. Sorry. Then compensation and benefits to the resource negotiated and fixed on quantifiable and verifiable basis in terms of generation of value for the company. That I have already discussed with you. How do you calculate how much he is generating for the company, and based on that the compensation has to be decided. Now most of the time we decide compensation on the basis of market value terms, what the market demands. Okay, but okay, you can take it like that, but once you take, you must start this process in HR to see especially the high ticket individuals, those who are drawing very high salary, because it is an inevitable question in the boardroom. Believe me, you cannot just ignore it. You cannot reply to this question in terms of generalities. नहीं वो आदमी बहुत अच्छा है, बहुत अच्छा हंसता है और बहुत मार्केट में बहुत उसका ये है. Nobody is going to take you seriously. You have to calculate on the basis of KRAs as to how much somebody has contributed. Then leadership role for the concerned resource justified not on theoretical but on empirical basis. Now this is the very important HR function, that what you do when you find a high performer. All of you may be knowing in the performance appraisal system, the moment you see outstanding performer, suppose in my company 3 people have come as outstanding this year, then what is the lesson for HR? To go for a track back method, that outstanding performer बनने से पहले go to the point of sourcing, track back to see how he was sourced, how he was trained, who mentored him, what are the departments he worked, and how he has reached here. The moral of the story is, can it be replicated? It should be replicated. If we replicate it, then we will get more number of outstanding performers like that. Because if we put somebody who has joined at this point of time, how it has happened. And in sourcing also, that is how we have come to the conclusion that how a particular point of sourcing helps in converting into an outstanding performance. So that sourcing is a strategic process again. Instead of talking in general terms that I can source from this source, that source, that source. Find out which source actually contributed the earlier outstanding performance. If that is so, can I replicate that model? Okay. So replicate such success story. Yeah. So these are the HR challenges. Human contribution quantified in terms of value acquisition to the organization. This is a challenge. This is for all of us HR professionals. So how do you address it? I will be very happy if you come out with something interesting solution to this, or something very new solution which will be acceptable to the organizations, so that they will be convinced that HR is a strategic process and it should not be outsourced. It should not be outsourced. Okay. So human contribution quantified in terms of value acquisition to the organization. How much value an individual is contributing? You must come out with analytics how to quantify it. You have to do it today or tomorrow. You can delay the process, but it has to happen. Nobody can escape it. Because return on investment is a very, very important issue in any competitive dynamics. So human contribution tagged to the bottom line analytically and not quite subjectively like now we are doing. In most of the conferences we talk so subjectively. Nobody wants to talk objectively. Okay? Because as if this subject cannot be converted to objectivity. But believe me, it can be. It can be converted to objectivity. Right? Okay, so you know possibly at the same time IT and HR, we are considered to be the support functions. Now when you find now IT is getting into the strategic role, we have still not been able to do that. That is a very big challenge. Okay. Then human contribution take to the bottom line analytically and not quite subjectively, as I said. Then any HR initiative has to have value and revenue generation sheet. That data sheet has to be there. Okay. Then setting up replicable models with superior value generation. Then compensation and remuneration policy has to be on return on hire basis, has to bring in transparency and accountability. Each and every compensation package has to be on the basis of accountability. I don't want to have an HR which will say, no, I am not liable to answer your question. The moment you are able to answer somebody's question with facts and figures, that is the highest point of transparency and accountability. And we have to move to that today or tomorrow. So return on hire analytics through, though critical strategic significance to the present organization, it is not in the HR syllabus of most of the business schools. This is also a very big challenge for us. The challenge is the chasm between the universities and the products that come. Most of the management schools where I go to deliver lectures, I tell them, please treat yourself as a product for me. I am from industry, you are a product. So the product should be in market ready condition. Okay? And you are not in market ready condition. You are not learning because people who are making syllabus, like for some time I was in Bombay University in their syllabus for out of frustration I came out. Because most of the people there, they have never worked in industry. And many of the professors, they have never seen an industry. But they are trying to make a product for me and forcing me to take this product. And they are telling, नहीं आपको इसको ही लेना पड़ेगा, उसको हमने जो पढ़ाया है वही कॉपी है. Whatever else you want him to learn, you train. Why should I train? I want in market ready condition. That is why universities are there, colleges are there. You should teach them. You should put in the syllabus. These are the important things. Okay? Do you know a simple thing? All of you will be doing it. Psychometric test. It is not there in their syllabus in many of the things. Okay? NLP is not there. Many of the things are not there which are so important, and including this return on hire. Many of the, I can list at least 10 or 15 which I require every day from HR person. Another thing I'll tell you, I told the HR person that I want to recruit this man as purchase manager. He wants a CTC of this much. So please prepare a CTC chart, and he says that kindly prepare in such a manner that the income tax payment will be less. Please prepare it. Okay? And he says that, sir, I have learned this CTC structure, I do not know, but the university, they have taught me as to how it is prepared in case of government and public sector servant. There will be a basic pay, there will be DA and all that. Sir, this is what something you will have to teach. Okay? So I can give you so many examples. We end up training everybody. We are not a training ground. I am in a competitive dynamics where I am looking for cutting edge every day. I need market ready resource. So this is also one thing. Please try to highlight to the universities wherever many of you may be going, and possibly a day will come where there will be close interface between academia and the universities, business schools, where they will deliver to me what I require, what I need. You cannot put on my plate something I don't need. Okay? So I think I have come to the end. I'll take a few questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So we were talking about return on hire. Post-globalization, the concept of cross-cultural management, the expat rates and all that have come in. And when you hire an expat rate, or when you assign someone on an international assignment, the company spends so much on training him. There are so many trainings that need to take place. We need to determine if it is going to be host-based pay or home-based pay and all that. So in such a case, when the company invests so much on an employee, what are the parameters on which you would determine the return on hire of such an employee?
Yes. This is a very important question and very topical also, because now there is not a single company actually which operates nationally. Most of the companies have become international players, and in such a scenario, you will have to have recruitments from across the globe, and cross-cultural recruitment is part of the process. Now, how do you calculate? Her question is, how do you calculate the contribution of somebody who is cross-cultural? See, when you recruit cross-cultural people, we always keep in mind that how much new market will be created through this man in his country, or the type of territory that will be created because of this man, and then what will be the value generation from that territory, and how much I am paying him or her. That is one part. The other one is through him actually, I'll try to build an organizational culture. We will be very, very flexible to work in a multicultural scenario. This multicultural scenario, as you know, see, in any cross-cultural scenario, the first step is accept the difference, respect the difference, then synergize. Okay? Most of the time you do not accept the difference, and that is how difficult to synergize. But once you try to synergize, then you will find that the value generation of that concerned person will become very, very evident, and I am sure it can be multiplied.
Any other question?
Sir, relating your topic to industrial relations, we have basically been talking about executive cadre employees till now. What about unionized cadre employees? Because you have to make them productive to get your result.
Yes.
So how do you get return on investment and quantify that?
See, I think when the year was going on, actually discussion, I had answered this question very briefly. Your question is very important, especially in a manufacturing industry, that how do you get optimal productivity from the unionized workforce? Okay? So there the most important thing, as I said, the benchmark for them you have to set, depending on the industrial scenario, the industry that in which it is in. So if it is in the FMCG or some other industry, find out the benchmarks of the best company in that scenario, and then you make them implement it. And once they implement it, then it will happen. Now you can say, if they do not do, what do I do? But now because after the last Supreme Court judgment, where you can terminate people on the basis of performance, it will not be challenged. Our problem is we do not maintain proper record of performance. As a result of which, whenever you try to sack somebody, then you try to sack on the reason of misconduct. And once misconduct you do, you open the Pandora's box. And that is why, it ends up in the legal hassle. Try to go for a very, very strong performance management system where a trade union person also, however strong he is, if you are documenting his performance and trying to take action against him, the courts will not interfere. That's a very crucial judgment, and this is one of the reasons that judgment has played such a crucial role that most of the places where trade union is very strong, including Bengal, they have toned down, because they know that on the ground of performance people can be terminated. Okay, so you go for the competitive benchmark from the industry in which you are in, and then try to negotiate with them how to get maximum benefit. Okay, this is the industry scenario, I am paying you 100, they are paying 100, I will pay 100. If you want more, tell me how much value you will generate. Then I will pay you something more. It's a negotiation process, yes.
Yeah.
So, what methods will you apply for calculating ROI on human assets?
That's what I told you, that see, every human asset, the quantifiable parameter will come from the KRAs you fix. If you are a student of performance management system, then you know very well that now KRA plays a very, very critical role in the performance management system, in addition to your balance scorecard, assessment center, the performance appraisal system. KRA plays a very important role, because in KRA you are trying to document and quantify each job description into contributable terms. I gave you the example that in case of a salesperson, how many sales calls he is making? He must have made 100 sales calls during the whole day. And if you are his boss, sir, ask, how many sales calls? 100 sales calls are done. Your question at the end of the day, kitna becha bhai, yehi to bacha pehle. What is the sales you have affected at the end of the day? That is KRA. Okay? Not how many calls you have made. That is job description. So don't confuse between these two, right? Yeah.
There are certain parameters, it cannot be made an objective analysis.
Tell me. No, you tell me for a person, not parameter.
See, in a productive industry, so many tips are to be, so many productive units, items are to be taken out. There are certain jobs where maintenance work is there, then this maintenance, machine maintenance is to be made in a record time. That can be or that can't be. So the parameters.
The parameter for a maintenance person, I always fix. Actually, one of my very great friend, a maintenance guy, who is sitting here. He was, senior general manager in Reserve Bank of India, Mr. Jadhav. He is sitting here. We have worked both of us together on many occasions. Important issue is how much downtime I have reduced, and how many maintenance people I put in the production team. See, the downtime is high because the production person does not know about maintenance. It is almost like I am driving the car, I do not know anything about the car. So, the downtime will be very high. If the car breaks down, I will call a mechanic. Suppose a mechanic is driving the car, then he will set right the car in 5 minutes. Keeping that analogy, we had merged maintenance and production department. As a result of which, what happens? So, in the production stage itself, whenever it breaks down in 5 minutes, it is set right, because the maintenance person sees in the health card system which system is not working properly, and I will hit there. So for maintenance person, very well the KRS can be fixed.
So anyway, I think all of you can interact with him in the...
Yeah, you can. I will be very happy. I think I will come to that.
But yes, there are certain parameters.
My ID is here. If you want, you can always interact.
Which is difficult to observe. And there are, your question about human resource accounting. There are so many models, and now companies are giving in their annual report the complete HRA, which is human resource accounting, which is a very set parameter. And there are a lot of studies done by consulting firms, so you can see that. But there are certain non-measurable parameters which is treated as a smart goal. But it is better to have 2, 3, 4 parameters which is measurable. But yes, there may be certain things which which can be taken as a smart goal, and one can decide based on the observation and performance of the person. Thank you sir so much for your round of applause on behalf of the organization.
Thank you, sir.
Very small.
Thank you, sir.
May I request the next speaker to come here, please?